joined Telangana Pharma as Vice President.
So you need to put a problem statement based on your industry experience. So we will collect and compare all the statements in the session.
Welcome Dr. Sahiti Pimpale. Hi. Just recently joined as Vice President Pharma at Telangana government. So as it was briefed by Dr. Shri earlier, the current topic what we are going to discuss here is the greening of pharma. Greening of pharma. In that, the current challenges and the problem statement what we have. Any ideas or inputs for innovating the current scenario that we are facing currently? And the development of tech for this particular scenario, how the development of the tech can reduce the cost of it. And again, the challenge is to integrate the tech into the current scenario. And finally, any inputs or insights, any collaborative solutions that you guys have. So before, as I said, all of the problem statement and everything, before I get into that, I would like to pass on the mic. Would you guys please introduce who you all are so that we'll know who we are talking to? Not an issue. Please go ahead.
Startup laga Pinat Ayurveda products sell చేస్తున్నాము. బేసిక్ గా MSME నుంచి అంటే MSME అని రిజిస్టర్ చేసుకున్నా కానీ నాకు ఏమి ఎట్లా ప్రొసీడ్ అవ్వాలి వాళ్ళని ఎట్లా అప్రోచ్ అవ్వాలి ఏం తెలియట్లేదు మేడం. అందుకని అంటే ల్యాండ్ డెవలప్మెంట్ కానీ అసలు బేసిక్ నీడ్స్ కూడా లేవు మాకు. ఒకవేళ లోన్ కోసం వెళ్ళాలన్నా కూడా లోన్ అంటే ఎక్కువ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ కానీ చూపించమంటున్నారు. బేసిక్గా మేము ఏం చూపించలేకపోతుంది స్టార్ట్అప్ నుంచి కూడా కదా కొంచెం కొంచెం అమౌంట్స్ పెట్టినాం కానీ లోన్ కూడా రావట్లేదు అండి. హౌ టు అంటే ఎట్లా ప్రొసీడ్ అవ్వాలి ఏంటి తెలియట్లేదు.
And as she said, she's like I'm taking care of even the land allotments from the Telangana government industry sector as well. So that also comes into my department. So if anyone of you want anything, that also available for you guys. This we can discuss in the retreat.
I am like L. Vijay Kumar Shri, Chairman, LVK Pharma, manufacturers of monochloroacetic acid. As far as this is concerned, otherwise we are a large, widely established industrial group in India, Africa, America and Canada.
Hello everyone, myself Omkar Nag, I represent a company called Biomatic. We are into life science space. We are setting up the company now. So we have been allotted land at Durki-Ballaram industrial area. So we are only like almost completed the project. We are going for revenue generation very soon. So we are going to manufacture product in life science space which is into ready to use media plates for microbiology. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jiten Desai and I am founder of a sustainable cooling company called Accelerating. We are here from our decarbonization and reducing the energy bills for MSME sector in a large way because cooling is one of the biggest cost item for any space. That's what I get. My company is called Accelerating.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. So I am Rangaru. I am representing the R&D Consulting Services. So we are into the procurement strategy for MSME. So I am a mechanical engineer. So and recently I completed my procurement strategy PhD work. So we are into the MSME pulse. So I have interacted about 140 companies with the MSME, what they are facing and how they can improve the competitiveness. So that is my thing. And I am into the industry for last 30 years, 20 years in industry, last 10 years I am into the consultancy in supply chain. Now we are giving the training on industry 4.0 and AI in manufacturing, then the EHC. So these are the main important area where the digitalization is very important for MSME, where you can explore some of my thoughts in this discussion. Thank you for giving this opportunity.
Good afternoon all. This is Rajesh. We have one company called Directorate Private Limited, and the roles we use are quality, regulatory and management consultancy, concept to commissioning, APIs, forms, finished dosage forms, and biopharmaceuticals, all that. And another we have Continental Pellet Pharma. We have taken a facility on lease, Concord Drugs Limited, and we are making pharmaceutical pellets over there. Majority of are being exported to Bangladesh and all that.
Hello everyone, I am Krishna. I represent Agalita. We are a tech bio company. What we do is build AI/ML solutions for pharma companies, starting from drug discovery, development, manufacturing, reaction modeling, and clinical trials. Any area where you are looking to cut costs, we have certain set of AI/ML models that we have already developed. I can share one or two of them today, based on the needs of the audience.
I am Venkat Sudhir. We are from Winmac Labs. So mostly we are into nutraceuticals marketing. But what got me here is previously I worked for formulation industry for more than 8 years. So now we are also looking at to set up a company. That's the vision.
Rakesh Lakka, I am the founder of Local Digital Private Limited. We provide solutions to pharma companies. So basically the problem statement is digitization of documents in the pharmaceutical companies. So pharma have a lot of documents like SOPs, batch records. Day to day they generate a huge volume of documents and they preserve these documents physically. And as per complaints they have to save these documents for 7 to 10 years. So storing them is a big challenge to pharma companies because a lot of space is required. And whenever there's an audit, you need to have a lot of, physically you have to go and get those documents. So these are major challenges. So we are digitizing those documents for the pharma companies and we are giving them the software solution where they can retrieve, whenever there is an audit, the auditor can sit in front of software and see all the images. No need to physically go there. And there is a lot of version control changes will keep happening. So we have that audit version control software who has changed that kind of documents, what date they have changed, everything. We are keeping a track of that.
Audit trail. Sorry. Audit trail.
Audit
It's
trails.
called audit trail.
Audit trails.
And where is this whole data saved?
We have both cloud as well as the on-premises. The company gives the server, all the documents are saved in their own server, and we will give an application, it will run internally in their application.
Is it 21 CFR Part 11?
Yeah, it is.
GAM 5?
Yes. So already we have clients like Natco Pharma.
You do for Natco?
Yes. So we have digitized.
Natco you do at Kothur.
Yes.
And even Nagarjun are
Yes. So we have digitized their finance and QA/QC, and we are now in talks with Gland Pharma for their entire 4 plants in Hyderabad and 2 plants in Vizag. That's about us. So anybody looking for pharma company digitization, we are the go-to person. Thank you.
I think I already have a client for you.
Hi, I'm Banu. So I'm from TIER. So we have a lot of startups which are tending to MSMEs. So I'm here basically to understand how the startups can better tend to the MSMEs. So that's why I'm here. So if there's any match, maybe I can help you connect with the startups, or any technology or any software, any requirement, I might be able to connect you guys. So
You can guide her.
yeah.
From where you are?
TIER.
Level?
Sorry?
The building level.
I'm in 3rd floor.
Third.
Actual TIER employee.
I am Jagannath, representing Rashmi Pharma Private Limited. It started 25 years back. After completing my pharmacy, I worked with Dr. Reddy's for 8 years. Then I started this company. It is a small scale unit. We are working for pelletization products. We supply as semi-finished formulations to finished formulation units. Now, after joining my next generation, we are going for expansion. Till now we don't have that boiler or solar energy systems, but during in the expansion project we want to have this. So I want to understand those requirements, how to go about it. Thank you.
I am from Creative Organics Private Limited, located in Jidimatla, and we manufacture APIs, bulk drugs. It is a small scale industry, and we are new to the sustainable tea growth. We are looking for learning about the sustainable.
Good afternoon all. I am Dilip, representing Pharma Chemical Sector. We are a CMO organization, and just wanted to understand how MSMEs are transitioning into the decarbonization journey, and also I wanted to share our journey as well. Yeah. Thank you.
I want to discuss with you guys and take your inputs is on identifying the inefficiencies and energy optimization. Could you outline the primary inefficiencies currently observed across the whole manufacturing operations that you're handling, particularly in relation to the energy use, material consumption, and waste generation?
So waste generation is like documentation work. Each pharma company, they print around 10 to 20 lakh images per month. This is huge paper waste. So if they reprint, instead of reprinting it, if they can do a digital solution, that will be a cost saving for them. In terms of, let's suppose if any scientist wanted to see that record, just they print it right now. So instead of printing it, if we can give them the digital access to everyone, they can save a lot of print costs to the organization, and environmental also can be saved, is what we believe.
No, actually you can start with the energy efficiency first level. Yeah. So if any factory, there are utilities are there, boilers or the blowers or the motors. The first crux of the problem is the energy. So how much energy they are consuming should have a data. First you have to understand the data of any company, understand what are their equipments, because many MSME don't have any data. That is the first thing. And they are depending on the owner. So owner is the soul of the entire thing. Whenever say yes, they say other fellow also yes. They say no, and the other also say no. So one of them is they have to delegate the power for getting the data. When you go for a digitalization, even manual records also not available. Suppose if you see the purchase order, they are procuring from some Jidimatla or something or Raniganj. Then after that, the record is not available. So one of the problem is first you have to understand what are the equipments that are there, what is the life value of that. First you have to start with the energy conservation first. Then understand what are the facility available. Then we go for a sustainability. That is the next, second stage. So that is my point. Actually, MSME has to understand.
So distribution of the work, and at the
Yeah,
same time, the
distribute. First we have to delegate the power to some supervisor, and he has to what is called. He has to faith on the supervisor, because he will not believe the supervisor or manager. That is the problem of the MSME owners. Okay? Yeah, the problem of the MSME is typical, and he say that I know everything because I am with the 30 years in the last 40 years I am in this industry. But he is not open up whenever somebody says, I will help you. So that is the crux of the problem. Proactive. And the mindset has to change first.
It is solopreneurship actually.
Yeah.
I have a point, it's a basic point.
Yes.
See, we are talking of energy efficiency.
Yes.
First of all, MSME, as an MSME, many do not understand or cannot measure what is the energy efficiency. If I know my unit needs 100 units, and if 200 units I am consuming, then I can say I am inefficient and I am over consuming by 100%. First of all, the Department of Energy, what you want to do, if you can state a mechanism, understand my unit requires 1,000 units or 2,000, how many road check, how many MS units can say, this is the standard what I have to get. Then I can move. I have to get 100 marks, whether I am getting 60 or 30 or 20, but it's basic factor itself. And with what technological changes, earlier, with the technology available, 100 units were required. Today, with the technology changes like VFDs, we are running able to with 50 units.
Yes.
This data itself is not that's the biggest challenge. Even as I have recently entered into pharma. But I am wondering after 2 years as a chairman, whether what I am consuming is right or wrong. If right, if wrong, how much is wrong?
So a proper process has to be
First of all, a standard establishment you should introduce from the take it as a fundamental note. If you have to do a department or whatever the Department of Industry say this you need an energy audit you conduct, 100 units you should do, 200 you are consuming. But establishing a standard of consumption of energy is vital to calculate energy efficient. For your information, MD in HT units, it is not only units. There are many MS units have HT connection. There is a problem of called maximum demand.
Yes.
And MD controlling is a very, very tough task. So in the maximum demand, the top, if all the machines are run at one point of time and the MD goes up and instead of 100 MD, they are consuming 200 MD and paying penalty. So that is
For
tough.
that there are the systems developed
No,
to use a alarm so that
that's what I'm telling you, sir. People are not available and the new technology, only I learned after 1 year after entering into this space is VFD, VFDs and revised motors, all this, please educate before this standardization. You cannot talk. And what technological changes are happening in consumption power motors. Same HP, earlier 10 units, today 5 units. So there are so many complexities has to
for
establish.
that a right qualified engineering department should be available. See, as a MD of a company.
No, sir,
as
MSME
a MD of a
company, it is not expected that we should know everything, right? So the right qualified people right in the place does decide all these things. If you have an efficient engineering team in your company.
Sir, in MSME, we are talking of an MSME.
Even then, MSME also
MSME,
does
where
require
can they afford,
engineering
sir?
department.
Sir, I am a 40-year industrialist in a small company.
Employees cannot be more in an
Impossible.
MSME, right, sir?
No, not necessarily. If you see qualified
No, where 8 people, 4 people.
Numbers may be few. Some companies I have seen
Madam,
few engineering people.
common service for this consultancy.
Yeah, consultant can
Common
do.
service can provide solve the solution. Individual, I am an industrialist for 43 years with at least 30 units as a partner and director.
But requirement varies to vary. We
That's
cannot
what I'm
make it
telling, sir.
generalized. For an intermediate company, the requirements are different.
Means what I meant to say, the government should have a consulting or a experts like you.
Right.
That's what
They
I
should
meant.
make a platform so that.
So that I can approach. Sir, I
they
pay
can,
5,000. Now
curate all these
I
facts
offer to this group.
Right.
But I have a company in now please come and let me know whether I am having an optimum energy consumption
Right.
in spite of introducing so many VFDs. I have 10 VFDs I have introduced. So if I will be very grateful, I will also pay if somebody can tell, audit and tell whether I am energy efficient or energy inefficient. If I am energy
Yeah, that
efficient,
support needs to be come from.
that's all I try to do. Ask the government what they can do in this session. They must go and take a,
And one more aspect.
Nagakan
In
is
various
already taking
generations.
notes of it.
Yeah.
So
Just
standardization and the audit and everything. Yeah.
otherwise, national productivity council or state productivity council.
Sir, I just want to tell you, it's on a free cost of basis.
Sir, please
Whoever is
note
on board.
my request.
Yeah.
Just now.
Yeah, they do the free assessment, you can note down.
Yeah, it's a free assessment. Whoever is onboarded onto this program will be giving that support under this program. Yeah.
Previous to my current organization, I was into energy consulting, where people used to come to the industry and do the energy audit. So that way I was into MSMEs energy audits before 4 years. So I have audited about 30 MSME pharmaceutical industries in and around Hyderabad, and the other other sectors in different states like Badi, Badi and the Gujarat, Bidar cluster. All these clusters we have audited, and we have made a consolidated report for the National Productivity Council, and in turn to submit the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, in which we have made all the observations, including the equipment level. If you can say, for example, one chiller you are operating, and how you are operating with the energy performance. Like if you can take a chiller, the energy performance can be measured in terms of kilowatt per TR of its generation, per TR generation. So we have analyzed all the group of MSME companies in different clusters and made a consolidated benchmarking that you can go through. It is publicly available in the Bureau of Energy Efficiency website. Also, the Bureau of Energy Efficiency is also identified few technologies that can be taken up into the MSME pharmaceutical industries to install into their facilities after suggesting all these benchmarking study with the financial assistance as well. People please can go through.
Your name?
I am Dilip. Dilip.
This is exactly I am asking.
Yeah.
You must take forward to the MSME units if the benchmark you are asking to show. Now only I am giving the benchmarks. So the department should go to each, if they are really want to do it. If you go to, now you have got so many people, no?
Yes.
How many people were earlier, before you were studying or knowing whether they are over consuming or under consuming? I just want to.
I agree with the sir what sir said. If you say yes, it is yes. Say no, no. That was the situation. I was into the
Do
plans.
they know what is their optimum consumption before you were studying?
No. No.
That's what exactly.
Even after, no one knows.
Even after the study also,
No,
what the implementation measures recommended, they are not able to implement it because of their financial.
That is a different story.
Yeah.
First of all, I know I got only 30 marks, I have to reach 70 marks. Whether I study or not, it is my, nobody can do.
But equipment level, you can have the benchmark numbers so that you can reach to that level.
Because every month I am spending 1 year, 1 year, 2, 3, 4. That's why I am just
Good
trying
to
to
hear
where
that you
I
are
am.
investing in such kind of things, but equipment level inefficiencies are identified.
I request you to
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, Madhukar.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
My company name is not there, like LVK Farmers. That's my general.
Okay,
So I just want to add one more point. So under this program, the initial step is like two industries specific to each cluster. One of the things is if it is a pharma, what is the energy intensity of the pharma cluster? That too geographically related to Telangana. That we are undertaking. Once the results are out, whoever we are onboarding, MSMEs, they will be leveraging all the whatever the materials available and also expert advice and the DPR support along with the audit support.
So make our company as a model company for prototype.
Definitely.
Definitely
I
we do
give full
that.
cooperation.
Definitely.
Sir, actually, in this process,
I want to add a couple of points. So I myself am a research scientist. I was a research scientist in the US. I helped develop a few medicines and all. So in the process, I know that Tech Mahindra has a end-to-end tool which can measure your energy consumption. All you need to do is just reach out to them and ask them for that tool. Second, I want to talk a little bit about material consumption. What I have realized after moving back to India and talking to a few of my friends who are also pharma manufacturers is that technology adoption over here is very poor. Now, what does that translate to? Now, MSMEs are not big enough to summon a project wherein they can use advanced technologies to evaluate, hey, can a different way increase my yield to X percentage or Y percentage? So we at Aganita, what we have done is we have collaborated with Global Biopharma. 3 of the top 5 companies are our customers. And we have built models for them where you can increase your regular Butchwort-Hartwig amination reactions or Suzuki reactions yield from a regular 25% to a 65% or a 75, 80%. For
25% to 80% of what?
Of the product. CC couplings or CM coupling reactions, we have achieved that using different catalysts, different methods. Now those models are available with us. We are happy to provide them to Indian pharma that needs it or is willing to use it. That's the reason why I am in this call. That's why I wanted to say the goal is to make it available for Indian pharma so that we can also produce the global level medicines, the more advanced medicines here in India and export them to the globe.
In one word, you are trying to state that raw material productivity. Am I right?
Yes.
Raw material productivity.
Yes.
And
also we are scientists.
whether the current practice, what we are having, do you think that whether the productivity, how do you determine that the current level of raw material productivity by a particular company is lower than the standard that can be achieved? So only when it is lower than the standard that can be achieved, there is scope for increasing the raw material.
100% agree.
So if you have something to improve productivity of labor, raw material, whatever it is, I'll give you an offer, you can come and help us.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes, so many offers.
Here is my card. Vijay, here is my card.
No problem.
You're open for everyone and helping them, everyone also.
Sir, 10 consultant line up you, sir. Sir, Vijay sir, 10 consultant line up you.
That's
Please,
really great, sir.
I love. I want my turnover to rise by 10 times this year.
Yes.
That ambition is really great, sir.
Vijay, we need that kind of ambition.
I mean seriously.
Yes.
I'm not joking here.
Yeah.
Because I recently entered from engineering 4 decades to Pharma Chemical.
I mean, our country is, our company is also founded by engineers. So,
any new product.
Okay, you want to add something.
So, waste generation, everybody is focusing on the process waste. The ignored area of the waste that is coming from the product, not from the process. I have seen the big companies, even the sizable companies up to 500 crores, 1000 crores, their processes are not qualified. In a hurry, if, for example, if any epidemic comes or if any booming molecule comes, in Hyderabad it is a tendency that everybody try to make that molecule. In the whole process, what happens, their R&D is not clear of transferring the technology to the production floor. But in the meantime, by the management pressures and all that, these people used to launch the product in the production floor. But 3 batches out of 10 batches does fail. Maybe the purity profile, or maybe the yields, or maybe in some other description parameter, any other quality parameter. Then it is an exigency management. Even it becomes a walk of life that R&D guys knows, the production guys knows, and the troubleshooting guys knows what they do, exigency management. If it is a description issue, so again it will be recrystallized or and then ultimately it becomes the walk of life. And a lot of companies as of now, if you go and just walk around, nobody will tell you these things. If you are expert in identifying these things, definitely in the big companies like even 10,000 crore companies also it is happening. And the waste that comes out of it is the first crop, second crop. While reprocessing these crops, a lot of waste is being generated. Maybe it is a spent solvent, maybe a spent carbon, or whatever it may be, which is resulting into, one is the processes are not economically viable, and where they increase the price of the product, and ultimately the waste that is being generated, it is very difficult to treat, like a solvent waste and all that, spent solvents and all that. Nowadays the requirement is that for the same stage we need to recycle the solvent. If you want to recycle the solvent to another stage of intermediate also, maybe some impurities may percolate and all that, if you are in the regulatory market. So the FTR concept, first time right. If the technology which is developed in the R&D, if it is really qualified, these things won't happen, because first 3 batches will be, as a part of technology transfer, will be proved on the floor with respect to all the quality parameters of the specification, and then only it will be accepted by production for the further production, subjected to a process validation. Things are in place. What happens is, a prerequisite to a process validation is the equipment qualification. To get the right equipment, there is a user requirement, URS. The URS should be given by a qualified person. Everybody is not a qualified person. See, engineering or production guy having a 10 years experience, 5 years experience, 20 years experience, even the time-tested experience and expertise, rather than number of years of experience, the expertise, first-hand information what you have, the expertise what you have, that makes a lot of sense. So with all this, a lot of waste is being generated, which is not coming on the surface, even in the industries. So ultimately, it is a great problem to the ecosystem as well as loss to the company, and anyhow it comes into the waste management kind of thing, which nobody clearly understands from where this waste is coming. The standard waste comes is, everybody knows, once the process is defined, definitely the norms will be defined, this kind of waste is coming from the each stage. That is for sure, and for that you can have innovative ideas to reduce the waste or to treat it effectively. But this kind of unidentified waste generated and it is also a threat, like some of the batches which comes with this, they are mixing with the good batches and blending it and sending it. So this is who has an industrial experience on floor experience, first-hand information. First, I agree, those people will agree with me. And this is my experience, what I have shared.
Thank you so much for that, sir. So coming back, whatever sir said, any of your other companies are facing the same scenarios what he mentioned, and if so, what are the measures you are taking? Like, I would like to know more of it. Any of the other companies?
In addition to the points all these people are told, we are manufacturing pellets for past 25 years. When I started early, people are committed, loyal to the company, and their skill levels are maintained. But now the present generation people are not having that much knowledge, no commitment, no loyalty. So as sir told, process is to be qualified. Then main reasons for energy consumptions, as per other people told, I tell my process related reasons. One is preventive maintenance. Second one is manpower training. Third one is proper timings. So if operator operates in daytime, he will run the machine for 8 hours. During night time, people are, if they are not committed, they are running in 12 hours. So likewise, energy consumption is becoming more. So we need to have proper people, committed people, training, and qualified process,
and effective monitoring,
and automation as
correct. That reduces a lot of things.
Yeah, coming automation aspects.
We cannot build commitment from people, sir.
That is why we have to go for automation.
There is only one solution, and as my friend Vijay, only one and the only solution, mechanization and automation. There is no other solution.
Thank you.
I would suggest even reliability have to be coming in, sir. It's just not.
It is very difficult to my knowledge.
I mean, I've worked in USFDA for 17.5 years, but coming back here, maybe since you guys are on hand and working here, you will be knowing more. But I find we have more reliability compared to the other countries. The bond or the...
Because we are done, number of iteration will be more here. In US maybe 1 or 2 iterations they will be sell, okay, but They don't have this much of challenges. Here, a operator who works in a company, as rightly said, so he wanted to become an entrepreneur. With a one coating pan, he wanted to make the pellets. So what happens, initially everything will be fine, somebody will promise him and he'll start this one. Then the crisis starts over a period of time. Then he wanted to do anything, at even a cost of 10 rupees profit also, he would like to sell it off, and he will make the entire environment malified, and all these things will start happening. So this kind of, see, the undesirable people also wanted to sit at the desirable places will be another problem. So conflicting interest and competing interest. So these things should be qualified desirable people.
Filtering in the upper.
Then these things won't happen.
Small companies, people just within 1 2 years, they will think that this can also go on street.
No,
So,
because small scale units are not very customized. So people almost their turnout is within 2 years.
Yeah, okay,
Because
yeah.
we are not paying profit.
The
And
salary
we have
wise
lot
and
of
everything.
challenges, like bank supports us when our performance is good. When we are in trouble, no banks will support. Then how can we are forced to work with low margins. So that is, many reasons are there. Bank is there, regulatory bodies.
So have you
statutory
explored any third party help or anything like that in coming to
It
scenarios?
has to be, as I said.
One of the problem is the finance, madam. The finance, the banks are not supported because all the loans given to the larger one. So whenever they go for a
It's just not
loan.
that MSME people.
I agree to this.
Yeah, and another thing is the shortage of the manpower. Everybody qualified, everybody manpower is available, but only the
I can tell my experience. It's my performance.
What I meant to say, you are right. One NP out.
So, sir, for MSMEs as well, there are certain banks attached and MSME people, rich people get.
MSME banks are there, but banks will not give the loan.
No, sir. These people, yeah, he's the right person.
Sir, so under this program, there is also a component which we are actually making banks facilitate for some technologies as well as empower MSMEs in the journey.
Okay.
Sir, recently, when my performance was very good, they have given me 9% raise. Now performance, because of this upgradation, we lost some production, our turnover cut down, then they are charging me 11.3. They are supporting, but higher rate of interest.
No, sir, that is where.
Sir, sorry. Sir, there are certain banks like
I am working with SBI, sir.
Sir,
Canara Bank.
Citi will not take over from SBI.
No,
There are-
Canara Bank, sir.
No, I'm telling you. So SIDBI, in SIDBI, say for example, for SIDBI there are particular schemes for each and every technology, or if you are getting into solar, or if you have if you need some facilitation and everything.
No,
SIDBI has.
sorry. This is not for greening of
For
the
town
energy.
loan and CCs.
I am telling about operational.
For operational challenges also, there are. For
No,
operational
sir, I
challenges
tried with
also.
SIDBI, all
No,
national.
sir, what he's trying to tell here is you had operational issues. But Rich can help you out. That is what he's trying to. And how Rich can help you out is what he's
I
trying to.
understand, sir. During that.
You can go down in that. Financial challenges from banks is also the biggest problem that you can.
Madam, there is one problem.
Sir, we have
Capital
noted
is
down.
the main problem for the MSME, first thing. Second is the qualified manpower is not available. Everybody wants a computer engineer, not the operator.
Exactly.
So that is the reality. We cannot say something other. Okay? We cannot say.
But to just maybe add and bring the conversation to what we are discussing, decarbonization and energy efficiency.
Yeah.
We are an alternative cooling technology made in India. We are at 200 watts per TR. We are giving human thermal comfort. Don't you think this AC is freezing us out? Is it too much, too less?
What is the temperature displaying there?
There's no display over there.
Is it comfortable or too cold?
Varies from person to person. For me, it is little uncomfortable.
Yeah, so our core body temperature, right, for Indians in the climatic zone that we are in is 36. If we stay in an environment which is around 26, we are sufficiently comfortable but with a single layer of clothing. The reason I think we need to go back to basics is we don't need glass facades. We are creating greenhouses, increasing the heat load, then providing more cooling to it. So we have to now go to first principles thinking when we design facilities or when we retrofit facilities. So we are an alternative cooling technology company based out of Hyderabad. We have 2 plants in Cherlapalli, one in Pimpale. Our heat exchangers are manufactured in Balakot. We are shipping to 5 different states in India. We're at 200 watts a ton. So we can bring your cooling bills down by more than 80%.
Oh, yes, here the problem is not the cooling or heating. The problem is the finance. The second one is the.
So if you want to remain in the contours of what this discussion is about.
Organization is the main thing.
That's
So that's
right. The problem is the business cooling is pertaining to the environment or to the environment.
It's for human thermal comfort, not for processes.
Yeah.
Where you need very strict humidity and temperature control, not those spaces. But apart from those spaces, there are several places where humans are there. They are sitting, standing, walking, working, eating.
So if they want to make a comfortable atmosphere for the same concept. Sir, one more.
Sir, along with the take one 500
So tomorrow you are busy with all the consultants will come to you.
Yes, sir, I will be happy if next meeting I will host also.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
check along with that.
maybe we'll note it down, sir, for moderating of the next session by you.
Product for AHUs, alternative to AHU.
We are a direct replacement for the latest ERV VRF technology. The company is called Ambiator. We make 5-ton systems. 5 ton or 500,000 tons.
You have a card for you.
I don't have a card, but I have 9000 7900.
Where is your unit? You cannot use it in pharma processing.
Sorry?
Still in for?
No,
It's only
non-pharma.
Only for right.
For
Any office or anything.
office
Only the air will be cooled to the.
Yeah, that is called.
We use non-compressor based technology.
Radiant cooling.
We use a very efficient heat exchanger.
Sir, what we use? Outdoor unit. So they are not using.
Our demo center is in Jubilee Hills. Because cooling is a feeling business, I will invite you to our demo center. Factory, houses, every place, any place where humans are staying, living, we can cool.
Yeah, so going back to the original session, please. I know we were deviated a bit, but coming back to the couple of other questions that I want, and we have already discussed, but I would like the other people, if you have inputs. What stages of your manufacturing process, like synthesis, purification, drying and packaging, show most inefficiencies in terms of energy, time or material use? What are the causes for that inefficiency? Any of you?
So what can you repeat what are this one on time?
Time, material use, energy. And what are the causes you feel for that inefficiency?
So one of the problem is the batch processing, because they are not a continuous process. Because when you are talking about batch processing, so we have to on and off. Certain systems you have to on and off. Maybe one reason.
Thank you, sir. That's right.
Equipment scaling. For whatever the utilities in the APIs, mainly the equipments will be heated via the steam. Steam is as an indirect utility, and the equipment may be cooled. So the circulation of the brine, maybe the chilled water, whatever it is. If the water is not up to the quality, what the scaling will happen in the jackets or the limpet coil. If the descaling is not properly done, the energy transformation won't happen that much effectively, which will result in the time cycle extension. Instead of 8 hours cycle time, so this will go on 12 hours. The operator and the supervisor, they can, in the subconscious mind, they know it. Or if they escalate this issue to the engineering also, engineering guys won't be there in second shift or third shift, and sometimes there are 1 or 2 people in the whole company, maybe 20 reactors would be there. So they did not give that much priority to that. And this descaling with a sulfomic acid, a simple thing, can be done, but the management may not be knowing these technical things. The company head may not be knowing it. if he does not have exposure in the engineering part of it, all this does matter. Somebody should be measure all these things. That means quality assurance is this one. They does not know all these things, but they have the tools. That 8 hours process is extended for 12 hours. Why it happened? So in the whole process, things will come. If you just call all of them for a review, if you ask for an explanation, there is a tool called CAPA, corrective action and preventive action. For that root cause analysis and all, there are so many tools for that. So exactly, they may not be knowing the reason, but so this was a checkpoint because this is a pain point. This pain point, when you start reviewing this, why it happened, and it is the role of the QA to do that. So then all these things will come. But nobody does. Unfortunately, what happens? They write a deviation, and at one point of time, they will find out the good with their what you call it as a over intelligence. They bring some points and they close the deviations, but the reality will be suppressed. So these are the things.
So the people who are heading that company has to be cautious about it and take that.
Who are the monitoring, the performance monitoring, the mandate monitoring, the accountability lies with maybe QA or investigation teams. It depends upon the company, what you call it as establishment. So some companies having investigating teams in QA. So they are supposed to investigate. So all these things will come. So the time will further impact on that. And second thing is, if they are not properly trained, a lot of people without knowing that batch knowledge and all that, they will put on that and they will be manufacturing the batches years together. So they know just manufacturing. If any exigency comes and all that, they don't know how to deal with it. Then what they do, they give a cooling and keep the process, or otherwise just they call a supervisor won't lift in the second shift or third shift, and it will go on happening. Everybody knows it and everybody used to it, to this kind of things. So an effective monitoring and effective review and effective questioning or accountability effective procedure does address this. SOPs will be there, sir.
Following of the SOPs will be
there. Enforcement. So in India, don't you think that we have a great laws and everything, but enforcement is very weak. So all things will be in place. If you go as an auditor, they will bring, if such kind of things come, they will bring the change control or deviation and they show everything to you, but which will have a right, beautiful justification, which is not the real thing. So all these things will go on happening. So this is my understanding.
Thank you.
Just adding to the third point. So here is main energy, higher energy consumption or higher energy resources consumption might be with the lower capacity utilization. For example, if my dryer is designed for 50 kg drying, then if my batch size is not under capacity utilization, that will be have inefficient in energy consumption. So these challenges are there in the almost MSMEs are facing.
The cumulative effect. One area I have told, so other area you have.
For example,
there are so many.
No, actually that's a valid point. What you said is like example that is widely acceptable in different areas as well. That's actually true.
Thank you.
You want to say something? So the next one is where are your scope 1 and scope 2 boilers or DG sets? What are the changes and tech solutions could reduce these emissions effectively? Any suggestions for that you have already implemented or?
Actually, one is called the IoT devices. Once we have a IoT devices where the data can be captured. So that is where you are talking about Industry 4.0. Very simple devices with very less cost. Sensors are available nowadays, and we can get the data where the data is very important. All the data points has to be captured with the consolidation of the one computer dashboard, so they can monitor. So what is happening, the energy level of this today, suppose it should be a dynamic. So whenever they changes the batches, the energy level, how they are changing, It's in the dashboard. It will be connected with the mobile also. Even remotely, even owner also can see the what is the data. Nowadays, what is called low cost automation is available nowadays in India. Some of the startup also they have done. So it is not a typical, but they have to think where the sourcing is available. That is very important. Okay, where the IoT devices plays an important role. All the MSME has to start with the digitalization. Once not having any data, that means they are out of the business. Because when you talking about the export units, suppose they want to export to the Dr. Reddy, they have to comply with the sustainability matrix. What the energy they are using, how much water they are using. So scope 3 emission is very toughest, even Dr. Reddy Labs also. Dr. Reddy Labs also has to collect the data from all the vendors. For example, if you see the L&T, they are having 1 lakh vendors. So how to get the data from them? It is very challenging for scope 3 emissions. Scope 1, scope 2 is not it. Scope 3 emission is very tough. Unless otherwise, some companies like Tata Steel they sensitizing their vendors. They are educating. Similarly, Dr. Reddy Labs also come forward to educate their vendors how to reduce their because I am a small vendor, I cannot afford all these things. At least they can help, like big companies has to help the entire supply chain so that they can be they are coming to the mainstream. So that is the main important, where the digitalization very important, where you have to capture the data from each individual devices and understand the energy level. So that is the first step. They have.
So answering to the emissions what you are talking about. So the scope 1 and 2 emissions, we need to have the inventory data correct. That's what the study is telling. Like energy consumption for scope 1 and scope 2, we have to have the energy consumption data only. For example, scope 1. In case the boilers you talked about, the boilers, the fuel consumption only we require to calculate the scope 1 emissions pertaining to the boiler.
Okay.
Yeah. Then the indirect emissions, like in scope 2, that we are purchasing anyway. All MSMEs in Telangana are purchasing their from electricity from the local government grids only. So there comes scope 1 emissions and scope 2 emissions calculated.
Any of your companies are already deploying any solutions to reduce that?
Do you have any clients who are doing it like?
Actually, I take my case only.
Okay.
I represent Suven Pharmaceuticals. So we inventorized all our units GHG emissions in 1, 2, 3 scopes. In scope 1 also, we have categorized the emissions in terms of stationary combustion that comes from the fuel consumption, which we use in the boiler. And for that, we are substituting the coal consumption with the biomass based alternative fuels. That way, it is coming down our scope 1 emissions. Coming to the scope 2 emissions, earlier we were purchasing the electricity from the local discoms, and now we are signed power purchase agreements on group captive mode.
That is what we are interested in.
Yeah. So this group captive mode allows us to obtain all the electricity which we consume. That is a green and produced from a green source, whether it may be solar or solar hybrid. So in this case, financially also we have to have a stake of minimum of 26% to avail the group captive status in as per the central regulations, green open access regulations from the CERC norms. So, sorry.
It's like, sir, the cluster decarbonization.
No, sir. Actually, sir, I engaged with a third party, solar developer, wherein I put my stake of 26% on the 26% in the equity.
He is invested. He is invested on this.
In the equity.
Not in the project.
Yeah, in the equity I will invest minimum of 26% to obtain the group captive status. That is minimum stake which we need to invest. Then only the total energy which we consume will be considered as green, as per the regulation. So that way our energy tariff also will be very less, though we are paying the wheeling losses to the local discount. So with this we can reduce the scope 2 emissions as well.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the companies like Heidelberg,
Group captive.
Yeah, actually, I will tell you an example.
Who is financially strong can avail this.
Who is financially strong, I can
Yeah.
So you can invest the money on the green power so that you can get the.
Here two things are. Green energy tariff is there, which is applicable for all the 100 kilowatt and above consumers, but we have to pay 1 rupee extra on the discount tariff. This is for the sake of reduction of emissions only. We are paying 1 rupee extra in green energy tariff. But in case of group captive mode, it is less than board electricity tariff, as well as we are claiming total electricity which we are procuring through this model is green. Yeah, thank you.
So, electricity department is exploiting green energy. They should charge less.
So actually, as we discussed this, I just want to ask you guys, do you see any value in cluster level decarbonization infrastructures? Like shared green hydrogen, centralized thermal plants or steam networks?
Yes, I share one example.
Yeah, what would you need to be an active participant in that? Like, it's just not to help everyone. If you're interested, what would be that you're looking for to be participating in that?
Can you explain, madam, once again to understand?
Sure, sir. I'll read it once again to you.
No, can you repeat the question, madam?
Question and also explain what exactly.
Do you see value in a cluster like decarbonization infrastructure, sir?
Cluster like
Combining certain
decarbonization infrastructure. What do you mean by the decarbonization infrastructure?
A structure that mainly focuses on the decarbonization, where a cluster of companies come into the group, where you have certain
example.
For example, you are purchasing steam from any other vendor or nearby source, which if that is generated from fossil fuel based fuel, then your emissions will be more.
What I understand, madam, can I explain? Sure. Suppose if 10, 15, 20 companies are 10, 15, I'm only trying to understand. If 10, 15, 20 companies are there in one area, maybe some small area, some common utility is required.
Yes.
Which currently is going with carbon related source. So you want all the 10 people come together or invest or government does something or we buy, where the source of giving that utility will be through decarbonization, green energy measures.
Yes.
So I think that's an excellent
Everybody
concept.
wanted to participate.
And all the 10, 15, 20 people can even invest in the equity of that project.
Actually, the cluster approach will reduce the burden of the individual.
It's an excellent concept. We work on it.
The cluster approach will reduce the burden of the individual as well as the common facility like steam and the power. Once you have a common facility, so software as a service, similarly utility as a service.
Yes.
So they can charge and they can do plug and play model.
That's what we are looking for. If
Yeah.
you're interested,
Yes.
as you're interested.
Yes, everybody.
Yeah.
I am not operating in the cluster.
Already China, this is the model that China has adopted long back. Say 20 years back, they have cluster approach for all these utilities, compressed air, steam,
and maybe other utilities which I am exactly not aware.
Including effluent treatment.
Effluent treatment we too have, that's EDP, but yeah, so many, right, so many.
You can also engage the
drawbacks.
startup in this business.
But where this Chinese government took the initiative, right, they are the nodal agency, a nodal agency would be there, otherwise the industrialists coming together to make this cluster will never ever happen in India, right? Only two we have seen where in Vijayawada industrial area just to develop a CETP by one company. I was working as a technical director for Nifty. He took that initiative, then that MD used to break his head, somebody who promised that membership fee, he never paid. All that, everybody has their ways and means to dump their effluent and to manage their effluent. So all these kind of things will happen. To be practical and to be realistic, this cluster approach should be triggered from the government so that everybody would like to listen, and a nodal agency would be formed wherein, so from these 20 people, you make 1 or 2 representatives can represent to that nodal agency.
The board will decide.
Board, right. Precisely, a board will drive the thing. Then it would happen. Otherwise, it's a nice story that we will hear after some time, so we discuss in this forum.
So I give you a solution. You can write down and recommend to the government. Adding to what my friend has told, a public-private partnership model with supported by viability gap funding.
Yes.
Please note, viability gap funding. With the viability gap funding, maximum 40% viability gap funding can be given from 20% to 40%. A public-private partnership model with the viability gap funding support under a cluster for a common decarbonization method is extremely recommendable, and I think the government, I think you will get a medal also for this.
Not only carbon,
even effluent, carbon, whatever.
No, it becomes a very eco model,
Eco
economic
model.
viability. Very
And
much
one
viability
more,
we get.
I have recently given one suggestion in the pollution control board also. If a common new technology, somebody startup or somebody develops, you start implementing through a funding mechanism with a gap funding, all that. So the whole industry will get updated one go. That's what you have to do.
Viability comes to the entrepreneurs because when people buying 10 boilers by spending 1 crore,
roads.
So just
So many projects are there.
of the steam.
True, sir. Definitely we'll look into it.
Not much with.
So Paramanda Babu, Rashmi. Thank
you, sir. That's really good.
Just wanted to share a case study what we are discussing. So in Gujarat Industrial Development Corporation, they do like this only. They generate steam. They sell it to the nearby pharmaceutical industries.
The greatest service the industry, your department can do.
Yeah, thereby they are. The industries are availing it with the lesser cost than we produce.
Capital cost also is not.
Capital cost also we are not recurring. And previously we are sourcing from the steam house, they call. Now we shifted to the other vendor, which is generated from the waste heat. Thereby it is a low carbon steam. Thereby we are reducing our scope 2 emissions.
Bioprocess waste.
That is actually phenol formaldehyde based. So those kind of systems are available. We can also adopt in our Telangana. Then
yeah, they have to look into the best practices.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll definitely look into it, sir. Thank you so much.
I have one point.
So, yeah.
To come from the startups or like the problem statements that we have discussed, for example, data efficiency, automation, energy, processing, quality training.
Yes.
I've been only 3 months since I've been in this startup ecosystem. But I can think of at least one startup for each product.
Yes.
So what can we do to connect them better to you so that like these problems can be solved?
First we have to understand. There are many problems out there. We have to give the solution. There are existing solutions also there, but who will take your idea? That is a question mark.
No, he's asking, will there be any platform where you can
Where is
suggest?
the platform?
They can.
Okay, where you can explore your ideas.
How can, so my question is, how can like MSMEs utilize this startup? How can we better utilize,
That's
how
why,
can they better educate?
in other way, you have to pitch your idea to the MSME. I am in a different scenario, I am telling you.
Yeah, and
the MSME cannot come to you, you have to come to the MSME.
Which can act as a mediator.
Otherwise, a app can be developed.
Yeah, you have to pitch your idea in a.
Better make one, better create one app on database where everybody can easily access and load it. So it will be a equivocal understanding everybody can have and everybody can able to pitch.
So here, I just want to update you. So under this RAM project itself, we are developing a dashboard. So that will be available to all the public. So there we will connect all the startups and the MSMEs also. So the basic outcome of this roundtable itself, we are sourcing problem statements. Whatever we have identified for the pharma clusters, we will be posting some challenges, startup brand challenges, where we will map the startups with the MSMEs. So there you can, whatever startups or solutions you have, you can call those startups and they can present their solutions in the upcoming challenges, and that will be beneficial to the MSMEs. So there is a platform under this scheme.
As a part of tier, we are also planning something similar, but it's sector agnostic.
Okay.
But I would definitely want to be
because
part
here
of
also
this
we
where
are
can-
cluster-based approach
Yeah.
we are following.
Yeah.
So it's a general and also cluster. So that option is
We
available.
are also planning to do a hackathon.
And I mean,
They are already informed, no?
Yes, yes.
So what are the
That's the
problem
plan for
statement? So they will be identified, those are giving the startup ideas, they will take on that.
Yes, sir. So before closing, I just want to request all of you. So I will be distributing the sticky notes. So please, write your company's name, and also if it is MSME or maybe in your experience you are come across for the pharma cluster. So write one problem statement that is relevant based on your experience, so that we will compile all these statements, and that will be helpful in creating the startup grand challenges.
Thank you, everyone. So if the sticky notes are ready, we can just pass it on.
Just any problem statement, sir, that in your experience, maybe for your industry or maybe for the pharma industry, what is the problem for the cluster in terms of greening?
You have to write
In terms of
Greening, sir. Greening. What's greening?
Here.
Please be here only. After 5 minutes, we will regroup.
Yes, sir.
Group 1 also is going to complete, so you can continue networking here, and we'll after going there we can have a tea and snacks there itself while continuing.
Yeah,
What is known as okay, EHG lead, huh? We are also giving the training on EHG. EHG lead, huh? So what is
Startups are the last process. It's a big discussion. And then it should
You can regroup there.
Finish it up and then we